It was a calm December morning, the last peaceful sunrise before the world would change forever. No one knew that within hours, chaos would strike one of the most powerful nations on Earth. At a US Navy base in Hawaii, a storm was brewing. Silent, unseen, and unstoppable. On board one of the ships, an African-American cook named Doris Miller was serving breakfast to naval officers. After clearing the tables, he went about his usual laundry duties. Everything seemed ordinary, until 7:57 a.m. A loud siren broke the silence. The kind no sailor ever wants to hear. Doris rushed outside and froze. The sky was filled with Japanese warplanes. In the blink of an eye, the calm harbour turned into a battlefield. Explosions thundered, fire rained from above, and within minutes, Pearl Harbor was under siege. Japan had launched a surprise attack on the United States, an act that would rewrite world history. Hello and welcome back to Explore with Jessica. Today we're uncovering the history behind the most shocking events of World War II. Why did Japan dare to challenge a superpower like America? How did a ship's cook become a national hero? And what forced the United States to use nuclear weapons against Japan? To understand that, we have to go back a few years. World War II had already begun. Germany and Italy stood on one side, while Britain, France, and their allies were fighting to survive. The United States, still haunted by the losses of World War I, had chosen neutrality. It wanted no part in Europe's wars. But far away in Asia, Japan was expanding rapidly, conquering Korea, Taiwan, and large parts of China in search of natural resources. And soon, its eyes turned toward the Pacific, toward the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. There was just one problem. Those territories were controlled by Western powers, Britain, the Netherlands, and yes, America. Japan's rapid military expansion worried Washington. The United States knew that Japan's war machine relied heavily on imported oil, and 80% of Japan's oil came from America itself. So in July 1941, the US decided to strike economically instead of militarily. It froze Japanese assets and stopped the export of oil and fuel to Japan. This single decision hit Japan where it hurt the most. Without oil, its ships couldn't sail, its planes couldn't fly, and its army couldn't move. The message was clear. Withdraw your forces from China or run out of fuel. For Japan, it was a deadly dilemma. Without oil, its navy and army would collapse. But backing off would mean humiliation in front of the world. So Japan made a bold and dangerous decision. It would seize new oil sources by force. The target, Indonesia. But to get there, Japan first had to capture the Philippines, an American territory. And that meant war with the United States. To ensure victory, Japan needed to destroy America's Pacific Fleet before it could fight back. The fleet was stationed at Pearl Harbor. And so, in complete secrecy, Japan began preparing for a surprise attack. 6 aircraft carriers, 414 warplanes, 39 submarines, and dozens of destroyers sailed silently across the Pacific. An armada of destruction, moving toward Hawaii. Meanwhile, Pearl Harbor slept. The American sailors had no idea what was coming. On the morning of December 7th, 1941, the first wave of Japanese aircraft descended. Bombs, torpedoes, and machine gun fire tore through the base. Ships exploded one after another. Battleships burned, aircraft were shredded, and the harbor was engulfed in smoke and chaos. But it wasn't over yet. An hour later, just as the survivors tried to regroup, a second wave of bombers arrived, finishing what the first had started. In barely 75 minutes, the US Navy lost 20 vessels, 8 battleships, and over 300 aircraft. While others sought cover, one man chose courage over fear. Doris Miller, the ship's cook we talked about at the beginning, helped drag wounded sailors to safety. Then he did something no one expected. He climbed onto an anti-aircraft gun, a weapon he had never been trained to use, and began firing back at the enemy. With calm determination, Doris shot down several Japanese planes before running out of ammunition. He became the first African American to be awarded the Navy Cross, one of the highest honors in the United States military. But the attack had done its damage. America had been caught off guard and humiliated. The very next day, the United States declared war on Japan. Within months, it rebuilt its fleet and launched fierce counterattacks. 4 months later, American bombers struck Tokyo, Japan's capital, in retaliation for Pearl Harbor. From that day on, the Pacific became a war zone. For 4 long years, Japan and the United States fought brutal battles across islands and oceans. But by 1945, Japan was weakened, yet still refused to surrender. Then came America's final, terrifying decision. On August 6, 1945, at exactly 8 a.m., an American B-29 bomber named Enola Gay dropped a 4,400-kilogram atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy, over Hiroshima. In seconds, a blinding flash erased the city. Temperatures soared above 3,000 degrees Celsius, and nearly 80% of Hiroshima was destroyed. 3 days later, the world witnessed horror once again. Another atomic bomb, codenamed Fat Man, was dropped on Nagasaki. Together, the 2 atomic blasts wiped out entire cities, taking the lives of more than 260,000 people. Japan was shattered. Its cities lay in ruins, its people broken, and its will to fight gone. A week later, Japan finally surrendered, ending World War II. The war that began with a surprise attack ended with unimaginable destruction. And the name of a humble cook, Doris Miller, became a symbol of courage, proof that heroes can rise from the unlikeliest of places. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends.